this is by Rod Crosby, still working on her. Got one more major hat trick pull. It's not, the bottom isn't level. It's a little high on this side over here. What I have to do is trim the whole bottom with the chainsaw. So while I have it up on blocks, what I did was I took a stick for a gauge and marked the highest point, and then I went around and set nails all the way around. Set a nail, and then I'd move over about 6 inches and set another nail, and all the way around. And therefore, as I know it's sitting on one sheet of plywood, all flat, good. It's not necessarily got to be level, but it's all got to be relative flat. Then I took a flexible straight edge. In this case, I used a hacksaw blade. It's got a nice bend to it, stays good and straight. And I went from nail to nail all the way around, marking it with a pencil. In the next phase, we're going to take a V tool, a smaller version of one of these. This is a V tool, also known as a parting tool. And I'm going to go around and carve the pencil line off. That'll leave me a nice bright line that I can follow easily with a chainsaw.
Once the sawdust starts flying and the chainsaw's humming, a black line on a dark surface like this doesn't show up very good. It's kind of hard to follow. Hoping that this gives me a clear path. So I have to take fly rod down to the ground next to finish it off, do the staining and all of that stuff. But I can't do that before I do this.
And then comes the scary part. I'm going to get the chainsaw and I have to cut in and keep the bar tipped up just a little bit so that it actually hollows the base up a little bit. That way it'll all be resting on the rim and it should be very stable then.
The outer skin of this piece of pine, back in the early stages when I had just peeled it, a lot of the sap had made its way to the surface and it's created a bit of a crust. I want to leave that for the finish, just to take the viewer from the very raw into the more finished piece. But in the meantime, it's a little hard to push my little parting tool through. I think I can follow that with a chainsaw pretty good. I'm hoping anyway. So as I cut under here, the chainsaw takes out a heavy 1/4 inch of material. And to keep everything stable while I'm going, I'll make a few cuts first and plant some wedges in the cut just to keep the thing from tipping prematurely and giving me a bit of a heart attack, if you know what I mean. Next step is making some wedges. Okay, so we're gonna make some wedges. They don't have to be anything fancy. I'm just gonna take some scrap piece of fur here. Back at my trusty, dusty, and slightly rusty bandsaw. More lovely wedges. Well, this is a relatively small room we're in. That should be the doorway, you know. And we'll go around her and let's see, it doesn't go too far back there. So we're running a chainsaw in here. What I'm going to do is shut the door here to the... Shut the door. And then open the big door. Wind's blowing good, so that's a plus. Otherwise it gets very, very smoky in here. So I'm gonna go get my chainsaw. Okay, got my chainsaw. Got a little bit too much slack in that chain, so we're gonna loosen up the nuts and adjust the tension. More. That's pretty good. Still turns. Good. I got my earplugs in, so I won't be able to hear you guys, but leave comments and I can read them later. Little oxygen. So now what I got to do is break away all of that I just cut. See if I've got any hangers in the middle there, and that should be it. Then what I want to do is kind of chamfer the edge around the base of it, and that'll help keep it from splitting as it gets shuffled around. What I use for this operation is my trusty dusty bark spud. That's nice. There's the center of the log, so it seems likely that I've actually got it all cut loose. Save that, it'll burn nicely. You don't know how much I was dreading that operation. Can screw things up real fast with a chainsaw. So, all right, what's left now for me at this level is to chamfer around the edge. I'm gonna use, starting out anyway, it's a #1 skew. I'll show you. For a minute. #1 refers to the sweep of the blade. This has no sweep, it's straight, so it's a #1, and it's a skew. Just ground at an angle like that. And what that does is when you go forward with it, instead of just pushing its way through the wood, it actually slices like a paper cutter or something. It's very nice for cutting a clean edge against an end grain. Just drop my hat. You can hold it. Ideally with this, you can slice without a whole lot of pounding, and it's working very nicely. Now, chamfering it like this, it keeps it from getting chipped up as it's getting like moved around on the floor or like transporting it, so forth. It's the same trick that they used to do to barrels. They would chamfer the inside of the rim of the barrels, both ends, so that they wouldn't chip out. For the most part, I've got the angle going this way, so it's cutting in the slicing fashion. It's cutting down away from the grain, and that again helps to ensure a smooth cut. So here we are, up close and in person. That's the cut that I was just putting on the chamfer, and that'll be good. So it's underneath. Not too bad, considering I did it blind. So there you have it. That's how I leveled the beast down. Like I said before, you don't know how much I was dreading this for months. But like so many things in life, it's done, came out okay, dread's over. So anyway, that's it in a nutshell. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like, share, all those fun things help us grow. And well, if you want to see me get this thing down, well, all right, but I'm going to clean up a little first. See, riding's not the only thing runs a good amount of sawdust for a simple cut, let's say. Don't hold my hat, don't suppose you hold my broom. I want the floor nice and clean because she should be laying pretty flat down on the floor now, and I don't want any obstacles in the way. Chair and rope. Nope, it's not what it seems. I'm past that point. We're almost done. But she's not past that point. I'm gonna lower her down using an ancient rope trick. Yeah, that'd be lovely. And part of my rope trick involves ice tongs. We're putting the rope through both handles to ensure that it maintains a tight grip on that log. Way more rope than I need. And put the other end. It's getting complicated. All right. Put the other end through the ring. I'm going to tie myself up in the process. Back through here. Kind of making it like a little block and tackle sort of a thing. And what I've done now is I've taken the weight off of that front section. Yeah, see, she's loose. Right there. How's that? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this out. She's up. Now while I got her up, get my broom under there. If I do a drum roll, see this? I want a nice clean surface for her to land on so she doesn't wobble about. Now if I just set her down, there's a good chance that this angle here will engage this beam and push it out of the way, and I'll be in trouble because then I won't have it there for the next phase of the operation. So what I'm going to do is replace that beam I just took out with board temporarily. Now what I'm going to do is very gently, because this is getting kind of delicate, I'm going to lower it down. You guys can hold your breath for me. When she's touching here, then I'm going to make that other beam disappear. Touchdown. I'm going to leave the rope on her. I'm going to actually push her now. She's leaning pretty good this way right now because she's still got a 7-inch beam behind her. I'm going to push her manual towards you and kick that beam out from the back, and then gently let her down level again. Well, that was less graceful than I had hoped, but worked out okay. I can't tell you how much this thing weighs, but it's a lot. And that is how it's done. Got her back down on the ground. All right. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, like button, subscribe, share. Thanks.